Rome is like no place on earth, and it's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. This 3,000-year-old city was once the capital of the world's greatest empire, and now it's home to a world wonder, Michelangelo masterpieces, breathtaking ancient buildings, and the most delicious cuisine on earth. Oh, and don't forget, the Pope lives down the street in the smallest country in the world, so you better be on your best behavior. Sadly, lots of people say Rome is overrated and overcrowded, but they just didn't do it right, and that's why we're going to give you the ultimate tips and hole-in-the-wall tutorials to make your stay unforgettable.
Buongiorno, welcome to Italy. Hey guys, we're Ian and Anna from The Other Side Vlog here at our second world wonder, the Colosseum. I am so excited to explore Rome in this video and share with you guys the best things to do here. We have about 7 days, so I know we're gonna have enough time to do as much as we can. Let's just get right into the video.
There's no better way to start our time in Rome than with a food tour. We met our guide Elizabeth in the famous piazza called Campo dei Fiori. During the day, this square is a market full of fresh fruit, vegetables, and flowers, and right after sunset, it becomes one of the best meeting points in Rome.
I always told Ian that whenever I go to Italy, all I want to do is eat. So I'm really excited to be here and try different foods.
Andiamo, follow me towards the board. Here we are enjoying salami as usually we do it in Italy for the food on its own. You have salami seasoned with truffle. You are even trying some pecorino. Usually on pasta in Italy we put parmigiano from the city of Parma in the north. But in Rome, center of Italy, we rather use pecorino made with the milk of sheep.
Elizabeth was calling this place the salami paradise. It's been around since 1890 here in Rome. With this salami prosciutto board we got going on, we have chilled red wine, and the reason it's chilled instead of room temperature is because it won't overpower the taste in your mouth.
Benvenuti, welcome, and salute. That means health. Salute.
Salute.
They call this Nazzone. It means big nose, and they have 2,000 of these fountains all over Rome. It's drinkable water. I'm gonna try to drink it like the locals do.
There you go, man. There you go.
Next stop is a place called Rossioli, and it's a bakery that also makes pizza. Comes in a square, they cut it up, and then they sell it by the weight of the slice.
Here you are going to try some pizza Roman style, really teeny and crunchy.
The cheese is really good.
Really good, Anna?
They didn't put cheese on pizza until one day the Queen Margherita went down to the town of Napoli, and a chef there said, I'm gonna paint the Italian flag on pizza. So he used red, white, and green. Green was basil, then he put cheese on it for the white part of the flag, and then of course the tomato sauce, and that's how you have margherita pizza.
With your pizza in Rome and Italy, you usually drink beer with it. Pasta is usually wine, and this is Menabrea. In the US, you usually see Peronis. I'm excited to try new Italian beer.
Very hard to find abroad, but very, very popular among the Italians.
Next we're trying soupli, which has rice, tomato, and mozzarella. I'm gonna crack it open for you guys so you can see what's inside.
String of cheese Anna's got working on.
Behind the camera, I'm eating.
Yeah, Anna, while she films, is eating. This stuff is delicious.
Hey, that's my view.
So here we are in the Jewish district, and you can see the so-called stumbling stones. They are put in front of buildings from where people were deported during World War II.
And as you can see on here, it says 1943, and the camp that they all went to was Auschwitz. As you guys know, that's a famous Nazi camp.
This place has created a beautiful sunflower effect on the artichoke, and the way they do it is deep frying it twice. They'll put it in, take it out for 5 minutes, let it cool off, and then put it in again.
Peeling it off of here is amazing. As you can see, it's kind of like a French fry or something.
Yes, they are crunchy, tasteful. Even kids who usually don't eat vegetables likes the deep fried artichokes.
Weird enough, this tastes exactly like an elephant ear that you would get at a carnival back home in the US. And after you take a sip of water, it turns to this sweeter taste, kind of a sugary taste, but there is no sugar in this. And that's because artichoke contains a lot of iron. By far the best way to start out your trip to Rome. Elizabeth, you need to get her. She is excitable, she loves what she does, and she knows so much. Right now we are heading towards my favorite part, which is gelato. Perfect way to end the tour. Tomorrow is a whole new day, so cheers to you guys.
It's nice to touch each other after the pandemic.
I know, hey.
Early the next morning, it was time to visit Trevi Fountain, the most famous fountain in the world. The water flowing through Trevi to this day is from one of the oldest Roman aqueducts that was created more than 2,000 years ago. And legend has it you can make 3 different wishes by tossing a coin with your right hand over your left shoulder. First is a safe return to Rome, second you will find love, and third you will have a wedding.
So another cool thing about this fountain is that thousands of dollars get tossed in every single day, and then they collect it at the end of the day and give it to charities. Not only is this place so cool to visit, but you're doing a good deed by throwing a coin in.
I'm in Rome with my best friend. I'm good. We made one.
Okay. Okay.
We know it as the New World Wonder and father of all modern stadiums, but I don't think people understand what they're taking pictures of when they arrive at the Colosseum. Yes, it was an engineering marvel built in only 8 years, but I want you to imagine something real quick. You're at a football game and instead of a soccer ball flying through the air, it's a severed head. The Colosseum was absolutely gruesome, where 60,000 people cheered on for death. And after about 400 years of horrific violence, more than 400,000 gladiators and 1 million animals were killed here.
Today we're doing our Colosseum tour and we're starting at the public forum. We have an awesome guide today. Her name is Catalina.
We are going to visit the Roman Forum, the Palatine Hill and the Colosseum. We will have the chance to understand much more about how Romans used to live, about their mentality, what they love to do. Olive trees were very, very important in the ancient Rome because from olive trees you have the olive oil. There was no electricity at all, of course, so the way to enlight was oil lamps. Also, in order to cook, for the beauty care, to moisturize their skin and their hair. Even athletes used to use the olive oil in order to warm their muscles. They were massage their muscles with olive oil and sand. Crazy to think from here that everything started with a small village of shepherds and it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and it became this.
Yeah.
The Roman Empire.
So how did Rome begin in the first place? Legend has it that twin brothers were left to drown in the Tiber River by a king of nearby Alba Longa. Rescued by a she-wolf, the twins later defeated that king and found their own city on the riverbanks in 753 BC. Soon thereafter, Romulus killed his own brother and became the first king of Rome.
What's really cool about the tour that we're on is we're able to go on the underground level. Right above us was where the stage was, where the gladiators fight. That's the first floor. And actually, tourists were not allowed to come down here until 2021. So we're some of the very first people getting to explore this underground area.
Slaves had to work underneath the arena, right where we're standing. It was pitch dark, it was dirty, gross, smelly, and they had to hear all the deaths going on right above them. And of course, clean up the deaths right after the event. Slaves would spin this elevator all the way up to the Colosseum floor, and that's where the crowd would get to see what would arrive. So it was always a surprise.
The construction of the Colosseum started in 72 with the Emperor Vespasian, but he died. He never finished the works here, and it was his son Titus, the one who finished the works. My father built the biggest amphitheater in the world. It's my time to do something impressive. He thought, I will organize the most amazing opening for this amphitheater. So I will do 100 days of games.
You bring them death, and they will love him for it.
They would have water battles where this whole Colosseum would fill up with water. They'd bring boats in and gladiators would hop on the boats and fight each other. And right behind me, as you can see, these were the drain pipes, the aqueducts. This one specifically would drain the water out. This is our second world wonder. Our first one was in Petra, Jordan. So if you missed that video, click right up here. Let me tell you, I thought world wonders might be overrated, but once you go there, you see why they are a world wonder. Of course, they're packed with people, but don't let that ruin your time, especially with a great tour guide.
I'm sure you've all heard of gladiators. So my big question is, like, what is a gladiator? I never really asked that question before. There were actually gladiator schools, and the owners of those schools would go purchase slaves, and those slaves were trained up to 3 years to fight in the amazing Colosseum. You have to imagine that that is completely covered. It was all flat here. Over on my left, you can see some marble slabs. Archaeologists dug those up and just placed them to give you an idea what the seats looked like. There were marble everywhere. We're here in April. I mean, it's not even like 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The sun's beaming down, so you can only imagine how hot it gets in the summer. And for that reason, they had sails surrounding the entire Colosseum. They actually had sailors working the sails at the very top, moving them in the direction of the sun.
Catalina, what is your favorite part of Rome?
Probably is the Pantheon, because it represents the perfection and it's the best preserved temple in the world.
So I asked, oh, do they ever get their freedom back? Yes, they kind of do in a way if they become good enough, because the people will love them so much. You know, they become a star like LeBron James.
Win the crowd, and you'll win your freedom.
They don't want to see him die, so even the owners will give them an incentive, sometimes give them money. And because this was a thing for the people, the crowd would shout "Mite" to put their swords back in and not to kill the other opponent. The other term is "Jugula," and that means like slit their throat. Sadly, we're ending our tour with Catalina. You were amazing. Thank you so much. She's very passionate. We booked her through Get Your Guide, and we're gonna obviously link that in the description below, but make sure to ask for her because she'll show you the best time.
Have so much fun.
Thank you. Right now, we're in the neighborhood called Trastevere, very famous among tourists. Everyone comes here for lunch and dinner. Tons of cobblestone, narrow streets, and colorful buildings. It's right along the Tiber River, which makes it awesome. But the reason we came here tonight is because we're meeting our chef to go to our cooking class.
We are starting with some soupli and wine.
Salute!
She says this is a recipe, not the recipe for pasta.
First, you start with 1 serving of flour and make a circle in the middle. Then crack 1 egg into the center and add a splash of olive oil. Start beating the egg and slowly add flour until it creates a custardy texture, and finally put the rest of the flour on top and stir until it looks like scrambled eggs.
So I've actually made bread before and it always sucks. We're going to be making bread in France, but she said because pasta is different than bread, it doesn't have yeast, so it's not as fussy. Basically meaning you can knead it as long as you want to. Actually, the more you knead it, the better. She just taught me how to knead pasta for the first time. So you're gonna fold and press. Then you'll turn it and fold and press, and you'll just repeat those steps for as long as you need to.
So you know you're done kneading when it is firm, smooth, and when you press your thumb into it, it rises.
Usually you rest the dough for 2 to 3 hours, but ours is only gonna go 30 minutes for the sake of the class.
Now we're making the sauce behind us, and we're actually using guanciale, which we saw in our food tour with Elizabeth at that salami place, and also that cheese that she was talking about.
As the sauce is cooking, it was time to complete our pasta. First, you have to flatten your ball you made earlier and add some flour. Then it's time for the pasta making machine.
I've always wanted to do this. I've seen it time and time again on MasterChef, and it looks so satisfying. It's happening!
After you put it through the machine a couple times, it's time to use the rolling pin on the guitar. Finally, you form the pasta into little bird nests.
Bravi!
Probably our 3rd glass of wine. We are killing it. They say the wine makes you do better. We're gonna keep it rolling, and now we're gonna cook the pasta over here.
My mother always taught me if you throw pasta at the cabinet and it sticks, it's done. But apparently here in Rome, that means it's overcooked.
And here is the final result with some pepper going on. Brava!
We didn't even really show the reaction of the pasta because we were having too much fun with our friends, but it was by far the best food I've had in Italy so far. Now we're having sorbet.
For us, it's so important to see people back in the city, even though it was very nice for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It was very nice to have the city all to ourselves.
You guys need to book this tour because not only is the food amazing, they teach you how to cook the best pasta, but they also give great recommendations. So do this at the beginning of your trip. There's gonna be a link down in the description below.
So if you guys haven't noticed, I talk a lot with my hands, and I was talking and I whipped the red wine all over myself, on my white shoes, my white jacket. Right now, I have a big problem I need to fix, okay? Partially our fault because we are not boosted. We are vaccinated. Turns out the EU actually has a new rule that you have to have your vaccine within 270 days of visiting. Now we're at the Vatican and the same rules are now applying. You need either a COVID test, a booster, or proof that you recovered from COVID in the past 6 months. So those are the 3 options to get into the Vatican, and sadly we cannot go today. Hopefully we can get a test and come back another day, but I am very upset.
to wake up a little bit, Anna and I are having a little gelato. It's a daily ritual here for everyone that visits Rome. The bike is a must-have for at least 1 or 2 days. Absolutely amazing driving through the city, so beautiful, and it's only about $50 to $60.
He wants to see this pyramid thing.
Oh yeah, there's a pyramid in Rome, so we're gonna go to that next.
As if we didn't just get enough pyramids in Egypt.
Anna, was it worth the 15-minute drive?
I would say the drive here is more impressive than the actual pyramid.
I know Anna was dogging me a little bit, but this pyramid is very important because it's one of the most well-preserved ancient ruins here in Rome. It also shows the ancient Egyptian influence on the Roman Empire. We just got back from Egypt and we saw so many amazing things, including the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's a good-looking pyramid. It's almost perfect, but it's a little tiny compared to those ones in Egypt.
It is kind of cool, especially since it's the only pyramid in Europe. But let's go back on the scooter. Woot woot! The Spanish Steps were made famous by the movie Roman Holiday with Audrey Hepburn, who I love. And around the area is very bougie. We've got Gucci, Dior, just all the designers that, you know, you won't find on me. It's time for espresso, mi friendo.
And all the flowers are so pretty. And this is kind of like a shopping center, and there's a cool fountain.
Also, they say the best time to visit is between April and May because the flowers are bloomed and they're really pretty. I'm glad we got to come during a good time.
Like Anna brought up before, all of the tours you're seeing in this video are from Get Your Guide. Get Your Guide is the sponsor of this video, and they're also a platform that offers 60,000 curated, unique experiences around the world in over 3,500 locations. They have an app where you keep all of your bookings in one place. You don't have to print anything out. You show up and it has the meeting point inside the app. Also, you're able to cancel 24 hours right before your tour, and there will be no fees. You get your money back, which is very important. I know it's called Get Your Guide, but it's not only tour guides and tours. You could also rent out Vespas and motorbikes like this. You could buy entrance fee tickets. All the links will be down in the description below.
Shout out to Get Your Guide for making Rome as epic as it was.
Woot woot!
Woot woot! Now we're gonna visit the Pantheon, which we've been meaning to visit this whole time. No matter what, you're gonna hit the crowd if you don't go really early, obviously. It's the only building that was once a pagan temple turned into a church, and the dome at the top is the largest unsupported dome in the world.
Right at the top here is where there's a hole, and I always wonder, what do they do when it rains? Does a massive amount of rain just drop on the floor and it's closed on those days? What should you expect here in Rome? Let me tell you, it's a crazy, wild city. A bunch of tourists, of course. It's one of the most visited places in the world. There is gonna be some garbage. There's gonna be some graffiti. There's bird scooters everywhere. We even found one on the bottom of a lake the other day.
We also learned yesterday at our cooking class that it's traditional to eat gnocchi on Thursday, because Thursday was the day that they used to bring potatoes to the market. Also, it's the day before Friday, and on Fridays they wouldn't eat meat due to the Catholic Church.
This is absolutely amazing. The great thing about this restaurant is that the menu is all in Italian. Even if you speak English or whatever language, they're gonna be able to help you because they're so dang nice.
I'm a big believer in when you travel, you should always make an effort to learn the language. I did take a little bit of Italian in college, but of course, I kind of forgot. I'm gonna teach you guys a few words. Si is yes. Prego means you're welcome. Grazie means thank you. Grazie. And then also andiamo. That means let's go. Bellissimo means beautiful.
Anna, you are bellissimo.
No, you are bellissimo. My favorite area to kind of have food and hang out has been Monty, which is where our Airbnb is. It's a little bit more low-key, a lot less touristy, and very, very cute.
By far, my favorite part about walking around is all these colorful buildings. You got pink, yellow, orange, and then the shutters are all different colors. We finally got a COVID test, and today we're starting our tour with Michaela here. She's a Roman. She's been doing this for the past 15, 20 years, so she's gonna be an expert here.
Today we're gonna see the galleries of the Vatican museums that lead to the Sistine Chapel. And then from there we are gonna use the shortcut that leads to St. Peter's Basilica.
For those that don't know, the Vatican museums have one of the world's greatest art collections, and even if you're not that excited about history, religion, or art, this place will leave you speechless.
So my big question was, did things get more conservative over time? Because at the beginning we would see a lot of nude statues, and then the section we just got in, there are leaves over the private parts, and it turns out there was a Pope, Paul IV, who did not like seeing all the nudes. He was just more conservative, so he cut off all the genitals, and then later they did something smarter and put the leaves over. Right behind me you see some tapestries, and even before we got into this room, Michaela said to me that this room will be warmer, and now it makes sense because these tapestries were used to keep warm. They absorb humidity, they would hang them on the walls, and they're also great for acoustics. But even crazier than all of that, this tapestry right behind me took longer to make than Michelangelo painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. So it was about 4 to 5 years, and as you can see how intricate it was, I was like, how did they do that? It was actually child labor, because they have smaller hands and better eyes.
In the Sistine Chapel, it is not allowed to take pictures and videos because the Sistine Chapel is the private chapel of His Holiness. So we were all guests of His Holiness when in the Sistine Chapel.
Today it is rainy and a little bit cold, but you can do a tour like this no matter what here at the Vatican, because a lot of the time you're gonna be inside other than standing in line. We're about to head into St. Peter's Square and stand in line, so make sure to bring an umbrella. Don't be idiots like us. There's a very dark time to be here because the Pope has been talking to Russia to stop the war in Ukraine, and actually yesterday or 2 days ago the Belarusian president was here talking with the Pope. I mean, it's so close to their doorstep that it could happen to one of these countries over here, so it makes everyone nervous. No one wants what's going on over in Ukraine. I feel so bad for Ukraine. I just hope it gets better soon.
The other day it was sunny, the day we were supposed to come, so of course this happens.
And they don't even check to see if you have a COVID test.
They don't even check to see if you have a COVID test.
We just bought a 10-euro umbrella right outside the Vatican walls.
Can't put it down.
That's the umbrella now. Here at the Vatican, they have their own money, they have their own police force, and they have their own army, which are the Swiss Guards. And there's about 1,000 people that live here, so they can't have like their own economy. So that's why the Italian government is able to support them.
St. Peter's Basilica is the church built on St. Peter's tomb, and St. Peter is believed to be the one that built the first Christian community right after Jesus Christ's resurrection. Jesus Christ nicknamed it Simon Peter, meaning the rock. And they said, this is the rock on which my church is going to be built, my community is going to be built.
Now we're gonna climb to the top of the dome. Ian said this is his favorite thing to do in Rome because of the view that you see up there. It's 8 euros per person if you want to do the 500 steps, but we paid 10 euros each to skip to like 300 steps because we're lazy.
If you are bored of the art or the architecture, this for me is definitely worth it to come to the Vatican and do this. Such an epic viewpoint, and also a little adventure getting up here.
10 out of 10. Hands down, a must-do, one of the best things you could do in Rome. I guess I shouldn't say in Rome because it's technically the Vatican. Thank you so much for an amazing tour today. That's a wrap. We're gonna say goodbye now. We're about to hop on a train to the Amalfi Coast, but before we do, we want to hit up our favorite place to eat, Valentino Trattoria, right by where we're staying, and just picked up the last little aperitivo before we leave.
That restaurant was so good that we actually ended up missing our train down to the Amalfi Coast. Better make sure to go there. Definitely want reservations for nighttime because it's packed with locals, but we went during the day and there was no lines. It is so dang good. If I can go back there right now, I'd miss another train for it. If you liked that video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you thought. We love hearing from you guys. We will see you in the Amalfi Coast in our next one. Now, should I do it? Woot woot, yip yip, reba.